Good morning, Cedarville. Today is February 11th, 2021, and the time is 8:39 a.m. I wanted to give you an update about the major winter storms that we have coming next week and the potential for some pretty nice cold this weekend. Well, not so nice cold this weekend, but this is the current radar for right now. This is 8:39 a.m. I just wanted to give you an update as to why it's still snowing, why we could see more snow tonight, and the snow on Monday of next week, and on Thursday of next week. We actually have quite a bit of snow to talk about. We could see a foot of snow next week in total. I'm not even kidding. There's a lot that's on the table right now. It's dependent on the weather models. The weather models are starting to agree that there's some significant snowfall that's going to be coming associated with some low pressure systems following the polar jet stream. So I'm going to talk about that, and I'm just going to give you some updates about it. Feel free to put questions in the comments, and I will try and answer them to the best of my ability. I'm not an expert. I just follow what I see on the models. So I'm going to try to explain this as best I can with the knowledge that I have. All right, let's do this. So right now, this is 8:40 a.m. This is the snowfall that is occurring. You have some snow in Xenia. It's starting to leave Cedarville, but we do have some scattered activity off to the north that's probably going to hit our area as well. So we're expecting more snow tonight. We're expecting about 1.5 inches of snow. This is a very difficult forecast, not because of, I don't know, well, mainly it's because of this storm off to our south. There's a major ice storm taking place down in Kentucky, all the way up through West Virginia, and down into Arkansas. They've seen like 1/4 inches of ice, like a couple 1/4 of an inch of ice down there. Some pretty significant icing taking place, and this top part that we're getting right here is all associated with this storm front that's down here. So we're on the cold side of this, which is why we're getting all the snow, and we're expecting another additional 1.5 inches. So that's the current forecast right now. You have the polar vortex off in the plains. It looks like it's actually going to stay more out to the plains than we anticipated, which means it's not going to be as cold Sunday night as we were anticipating. We're expecting a low of 0 degrees, and we're still expecting wind chills at sub-zero, but we're not expecting anything near as significant as we thought last weekend, which is good news. But that comes with a cost. We're definitely going to see snow next week. Alright, so let's talk about that real quick. So this is the current weather model as of 7 a.m. this morning. So you can see that there's that ice storm off in Kentucky and off to the south. So that's still going on. And take a look at this. This is some pretty impressive stuff right here. All these isobars next to each other, that's the black lines that are along the Rockies right now. What's actually happening here is that this cold air that's up in Canada and it's coming down into the United States, it's actually getting blocked because cold air is lower in the atmosphere than warmer air. It's actually getting blocked off by the Rocky Mountains, which is why you see this significant pressure gradient right here, which means there's probably some pretty strong winds going on right there, and it's keeping the cold air from escaping out to the west, which is why it's kind of warm out in California and those states. But also the Appalachian Mountains kind of have a role with keeping this area warm as well. So this super cold air that we have up here is just getting shut off by the mountains, and that's why we're seeing the cold air, while places to the southeast and southwest aren't really seeing that. However, in the plain states, you have it dipping nice and deep down into Texas, and that's actually going to play a role in the start of our winter storm, which is actually going to truck all the way through the southern states, the Dixie Valley states, and it's just going to be some pretty nasty weather next week. So this is right now, as I said, Thursday, 7 a.m. And I'm going to move to Sunday at 7 a.m. And there's some extreme cold there's the extreme cold that Minnesota, Wisconsin, the Dakotas are going to get, and it's starting to dip deeper into Texas. You can see this low pressure system here that's kind of moving across this pressure gradient. Look at how tight those isobars are. I'm thinking Colorado and New Mexico, you're going to see some extreme winds on Sunday. So as we continue on, I'm going to move forward to about Monday at 7 a.m. This is before the storm's going to hit. Alright, so here we have this low pressure system sitting off in the Gulf of Mexico, and you have ice actually forming all the way even close to the shoreline of the Gulf of Mexico, which is really impressive. You have this real nice dip. This is the polar vortex we're talking about. In fact, let me show you that polar vortex. If I show you the height anomaly here, That right there, you see that? This right here is what the air is like in the upper levels of the atmosphere, and that is a very cold air mass right there. So what happens is when you have high pressure in this cold air mass, the cold air in the upper levels of the atmosphere will begin to sink because cold air is more dense than warm air, so it'll sink down to the surface, and that's where you're getting this cold air from, because when you have a high pressure system, it'll sink from the upper layers to the lower layers. And then low pressure systems take that cold air that's being warmed at the surface, and it'll rise up into the low pressure system, and it'll start to cool again. So that's the cycle we typically see with storms. So that's kind of what's contributing to the development of these systems as well. So let's go back to precipitation type model here. All right, so you have the storm developing in Texas, and there may be some convection in front of it too that will push, kind of following the same pattern that the ice storm that's happening now did, with freezing rain along Kentucky, West Virginia, and then some snow up in Ohio. But the heavy stuff is down here, and that's going to move in, say, about, let's go to 7 p.m. 7 p.m. You have the storm starting to get in Monday night. This is Monday night at 7 p.m. Yeah. So you have that ice storm. It's really low in the United States. Like, this is surprising. It's going past the Rocky Mountains too. The Appalachian Mountains, excuse me. The Appalachian Mountains, you have wintry mix, freezing rain, and then you have your snow at the top. We're probably going to get the northern side of this system, so that's something that we're going to have to focus on. All right, so let's move on a couple hours. 1 a.m. Tuesday. There you go. You have your heavy snow. We're expecting about 5 or 6 inches just from this alone. So, and the entire state of Ohio is just going to get snow mainly. So that's going to be something we're going to have to deal with. 6 inches of snow is a lot of snow. I could say that it could be delay or cancellation type material. That's just something I'm throwing out there. It's going to just happen very fast, and it's going to continue overnight and into the morning hours on Tuesday. So it's delay, it's cancellation type material, maybe. The next storm, though, is particularly concerning for that, and that storm is coming on Thursday of next week. So if we go to Thursday, February 18th, I'm going to start this at about 10 p.m. on Wednesday. 10 p.m. on Wednesday. Already have snow moving in 10 p.m. on Wednesday. So this is the very beginning of the snowstorm. It's going to be moving in 10 p.m. on Wednesday. And look down here. This is what we're watching right here, because this system here could definitely shift north. Like, all this heavy stuff here could shift northward and start transitioning to snow. And look how deep it goes. It goes all the way down into Mexico. Even Mexico's going to get some snow. Very surprising conditions. You have a very deep dip in the jet stream that follows along this path. You see that 540 line? That 540 line is kind of just following the path of the jet stream. The polar jet is just so far to the south, and that 540 line right there is kind of showing you where it's at. So the 540 line is something, as I mentioned in a previous video, the 540 line is something we watch for potential snow transition to snowfall. And what's surprising is that it's actually the rain-snow line is a lot farther south than the 540 line. So this is something we're going to have to be careful and watch for. So next couple of hours pass on. This is at about 4 a.m. on Thursday, and you've got a chance of freezing rain, you've got snow, you've got a nice little freezing rain snow line here. So we're expecting a wintry mix from this, actually. More snow than rain, and I'm saying this actually could be even more snow than what we're going to get on Monday. I could say 7 to 10 inches of snow, just based on what I'm seeing on the models now. 7 to 10 inches of snow and some ice along with that. So I'm going to move to, let's see, this is about 11 a.m. So looks like there's kind of a little bit of a lull, and it looks like we may get a little bit of rain, but this backside is something we're going to have to watch too, because this could be the second round of snow that we get. And that's not on top of the 7 to 10 inches of snow. Total from this snowstorm, I'm expecting 7 to 10 inches of snow as of right now, based on the current models. And if you look at the EMCWF model too, so if I go to this model, it kind of follows along with the same idea that the other model does. So Thursday's snowstorm, you start off with freezing rain, and on the back side of it you have snow. And yeah, it still shows the snowstorm. So the models are agreeing that there's a snowstorm on Thursday. And if I go back to Monday's potential snowstorm, EMCWF still agrees that there's going to be a snowstorm on Monday. So this is Monday at about 2 p.m. Still see some snow and some snow back here. It's kind of a little bit more choppy on this model for some reason. But yeah, you still have that snow on the backside. So EMCWF agrees on a lot of snow this week on Monday and on Thursday. So let's go back to GFS because that one it's able to provide a nicer picture of what's going on. All right, this is back to Monday at 7 p.m. So I'm going to go back to Thursday. There it is. You still have your snow, and it's going to start lifting up to the north. There we are. And it's kind of hard to tell if we're going to get rain from. We're definitely going to have snow from this at the very beginning, but on the back side, we're going to have some heavy snow as well. So if we keep going, there's the snow transition that's starting. And looks like you may have some. Look at how deep that low pressure system is. There could be some severe weather on the southern side of this. I wouldn't be surprised, followed by another dip in the polar jet stream, which is just going to cause even more cold to come. Let's check the temperatures on this thing. How cold is it going to get? Yeah, it's going to get pretty cold. Not as cold as what we've been seeing, but it's going to still be. We're going to be right on the edge of that cold front at this time. This is Thursday at 7 p.m. So this is where it'll start to get cold and quite windy. This is some deep low pressure. And these are kind of the storms that we see coming into the spring. And with this cold, it definitely, you can see why there's so much snow. The combination of Arctic cold plus the storm season starting, the tornado season starting, where we get these types of storms where we can see tornadoes, which, given this cold, it's not as likely, but we're definitely going to see heavy winter storms, which is what we're going to see throughout this week. So I'm going to go to weatherunderground.com. This is where I go to the most to check on possible snow totals from systems and things like that. So yeah, today, snow showers. Tonight, snow showers. Saturday, we could see a little bit of snow too. It's going to be cold Sunday night, low of 6, wind chill of -8. And then the winter storm hits Monday. Monday and Tuesday, we're going to see 6 to 7 inches of snow, I think. Something along those lines. You don't really get an accurate forecast for Tuesday yet, but I think we're going to see the most snow Monday night. All right, moving on. Wednesday night, you see about 3 or 4 inches of snow. Thursday, you see 4 to 5, so that's 8 inches, just about. Friday, the snow continues. So you can see that we're going to get a lot of snow this week, and this is definitely delay cancellation type material. So this is going to be a significant, right now the probabilities, the confidence of these snowstorms happening in the way that they're happening is about 70 to 80% for most models. So you can tell that there's probably going to be a fairly decent snow event throughout the next week. And I'm going to keep tracking this because this is going to be pretty significant. This is probably something unlike Cedarville has seen before in a very long time. Cincinnati's already seen the most snow it's seen in 13 years. So that's just telling you how intense this winter is for the area. So I'd encourage you, you've already followed me on Instagram if you've seen this video, but download Telegram, go to t.me/cuweather, get on the notification system, and then also if you don't want to download the app, you can always text @cuweather to 81010 to get notifications via text. So definitely do this next week. There's going to be a lot of news in terms of weather, and you're going to want to stay updated. It's going to be a very wild week of weather next week. So hopefully this video was helpful in giving you information that was valuable to you, and hopefully you have a good rest of your week. Enjoy your weekend, and brace for some very intense weather next week.